Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is the podcast show Fanatics Call In, where you guys get to call in and have a chat with us, and we get to have a laid back conversation about all things cricket. So, today's show is going to be a really interesting one. Obviously, I'm going to have to warm up to get into this one because obviously, my mate on the other side just gave us a beating today in the game between Man United and Arsenal. So yeah, it's going to take some time for me to warm up into this particular show. You can see I'm a little bit down about this. But yeah, we're going to get into it. And we're obviously going to be talking about a lot of things going to the season, talking about the new fresh season that is starting. Obviously, this is the perfect time to talk about it with a magazine coming out tomorrow, and it's all about a new fresh start and a new fresh life that is being injected into South African cricket. So this is a perfect conversation that we can be having right now. So without further ado, all smiles and gloating, I'm gonna be bringing on board to the show. How's the Paul?
How are you doing?
That was a horrible game to actually endure for me.
Mikel Arteta had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the palm of his hand. You played right into Arsenal.
It was 100%. That's what I can see. I mean, obviously, I thought that when it went 0-0 half time, I thought maybe, okay, cool. He's just trying to get you guys a little bit tired and then catch you in the second half with the pace. But that stupid mistake from Pogba, I mean, wow. I mean, I would have subbed him right there and then and brought on Van der Beek. But, that's how it's going. But let's not get into the soccer.
It's been 14 years since we lost one at Old Trafford, so allow me.
Everything leading up to this game was a set-up for this loss because they were like, oh, yeah, Aubameyang, blah, 5 games. I was like, I said it beforehand. I said, this is the perfect game for Aubameyang. There's no way he's going to go 6 games without scoring. It's going to come today against United. And there we go. But anyway, let's get into the conversation of today, which is obviously the metric. It's something.
I'm going to switch applications now.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect. Sure. I'll chat to you guys. So long in the comments. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the podcast show. Of course, I'm glad that you guys are all here. Before I bring Umpo now back on, he's very slick, the way he did that transition now. Wow, that deserves, guys. That guys deserves a subscribe, a like, and all of those things. Please, you know what to do. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and all those things. Guys, here's Umpo back again. Let's get it straight into the comments. There's so many guys that are talking in the comments. Abai saying that he's looking forward to it. He's looking forward to the new season. Jordan now saying he's back in the Cobras all the way. Little bit of we've got Abai that he's a Dolphin supporter over here. We've got a Knights fan in the comment section. The Knights fan in the comment section.
And that's okay. That's cool.
Yeah, a Warrior supporter over here. Great balance over here. I don't see any Titans guys. We're the Titans guys and the Lions guys.
I'm the Lions supporter here. I'm the Lions supporter here. But I look across the entire league.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. So let's start off with what I think is going to be one of the big games of the tournament and obviously of the series of the opening round. Sorry, is Titans versus Cobras. Now, I think it's just the history between the two sides. It's always been like this from a commercial perspective. It's the two biggest commercial brands, I would say, in the country. Obviously, the Lions with regards to trophies and obviously where they are situated at the Wanderers and stuff, they have reigned supreme over the last couple of years with regards to that. They've been getting a lot of trophies. They've been getting a lot of recognition. When Enoch was there, it was just phenomenal. And now we've got an amazing new, fresh young coach as well, Wendile. So we've had some amazing articles. There's an article about him in the next issue of the magazine, which you guys must read. We spoke about having to get X Factor players into the side. But let's start off with the Titans and the Cobras. It's one of those situations where you've got almost a Proteas top order almost in a way, obviously with Aiden Markin and Dean Alga over there. And then you've got a younger, you would say a more balanced top 3 or younger. It's like a lot of the, okay, let me get this right. A lot of the players from the Titans switched over to the Cobras. So it's almost like this little rivalry going on over there.
But the season before,
But the season before, Dan Khalim went the other way, and Tandantini also went the other way this season.
Exactly.
But I think if you look at this one fixture, I think we need to put it into context, right? So you've got now it's no longer everyone will play everyone, but no one was going to play the same teams twice. So we split into Pool A and Pool B. And this is a massive match for I think it's Pool A. And to have a Cobras and a Titans start off with a North-South derby, similar to the Bulls versus Stormers game last night in the rugby, there's so much Transvaal and the Cape and all of that going on. But if you look at it, it's the present Proteas versus the future. And that's how I build this game as. In terms of a top order battle. So you've got guys like Alga, Markram, Klaassen in the top 4. I hope I haven't left anybody out. Tiernus de Bruin. That's your top 4 for the Titans. But if you look at the Cobras, you've got Kleinfeld, who is an opener. You've also got Tony DeZorzi, who played for the Titans last season. He did well to move action.
Yeah, Kleinfeld's actually now moved now.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy what's happened.
He's now at the Titans. But then you have something interesting. The Milan brothers at the top of the order. Peter Milan opened the batting with Dean Alga against England at the beginning of our international summer, with Aiden Markram being injured. So you've got a lot of questions about the Proteas top order right there in this one matchup. And the great thing about this, you get to see them twice in a season, which is something that I think the fans will want. And to a certain extent, I do think with that is the tie of the round. From a bowling perspective, I think if you look at these teams, both teams have like a middle order that needs a little bit of work and a little bit of tweaking with a lot of the all-rounders. I think Dan Khalim I love as an all-rounder. Jason Smith should be batting higher, should be batting at 5, but he can help. You've got a George Linder who was the Saka MVP of the season last year in that Cobra squad. So in as much as the Titans have this massive behemoth at the top with all the Proteas in there, and then you've got from 4 onwards, it kind of fizzles off. Whereas from 4 onwards for the Cobras, it kind of strengthens up until you get to that bowling lineup, which I do think the Titans, actually, I do think the Cobras have a lot better with Nandre Berger. I'm a fan of left arm seamers, so I think Nandre Berger will do quite a great job. I think this game's going to be one on the team that necessarily bowls well. I honestly think so. I think Tandantini is a great find. Oguhletlele is a great find for them. And I think from there, the Titans might have the edge. But from a batting perspective, I think if you take away the Protea moniker from those 4 players, you find yourself with teams that look very similar in terms of even some of the Cobras players could be Proteas. Yanaman Milan is one incredible red ball season away from opening the batting for South Africa. So I like it. I think it's quite an interesting one from that perspective.
Yeah, so let me just give a quick update to everybody out there with some of the moves that has been happening, because obviously we've seen Lazard Williams going over to the to the Titans from the Cobras. Yes. So that's going to be a fierce one over there. We've got Matthew Kleinfeldt that has moved over to the Knights now. We've got obviously from the Knights to the Dolphins. We've got Keegan Peterson that has switched. We've got all of those type of moves that has been happening.
And then you've got the Lions as well. The Lions got Magala, Sepamla, Wesley Marshall, and Tladibo Kako. Yeah. And then the Knights actually were very shrewd. Farhan Behadin joined them after his call pack kind of fell through, which I think, because the man averages, I think, what does he average? The man averages 53 last season with the bat, which is ridiculous, especially from a domestic standpoint. So there are a couple of moves there in that you could take note of.
Yeah, the Cobras particularly. The starting of, I feel that Jason Smith is probably the most unlucky cricketer in domestic cricket at the moment. So we know that when he started off, when he came straight from the World Cup, he was struggling to get in the side because of the all-rounders that they had available. They had the likes of Wayne Parnell, they had the likes of Rory Kleinfeldt, they had the likes of Vernie Philander. Now, in a couple of years, then he started getting his form and he started getting a few starts playing well, and then he had to be dropped for, obviously, the Proteas players again, once again, Vernie Philander. And this season was going to be the season where Jason Smith puts his name on the team sheet and really shows what he's capable of. I spoke to him at the launch. He's injured for up to 6 months. So so he's been put out now recently. He's out with injury, so it's gonna take a long recovery for him to come back, and that's the difficult one for all of us. It's crappy that he had to go through that now. So it almost opens up the door for an all-rounder like Unke and Nyakuna to take that spot and like show that okay, look here, I've got the ability over here to now to play to make that spot my own. Obviously, the Cobras made a lot of signings that seem on face value like it's white ball signings. I mean, obviously the likes of Bosch and the likes of Evia and the likes of was it Evia? No, not Evia.
They signed Imran Manak, Tony DeZorzi,
Calvin Savage.
Yes.
Sorry, Calvin
He's
Savage.
A very good bowler. Very good bowler in the domestic form.
Yeah, and so they've made a lot of moves that look very much like white ball signings. But I mean, it's going to be a lot of pressure on the bowlers and who they're going to pick as bowlers, because we know that the transformation targets makes it a bit difficult for a lot of teams to play a full 6 players of color. And when you're looking at that side, I think a guy like Akona Manyaka is someone that they really have to rely on now. Someone like Unke as well. Someone like obviously Avima Majima, who people thought is probably going to be on the wayside now. But he scored 100 in the warm up, so I think they're going to back him as a batsman now, especially with Jason Smith being injured.
Yeah.
So I think the main thing for the Cobras is that top 6. If they fire, I mean that talented top, they have a flippant talented top 6. But
yes,
it's almost like
Hamza as captain. We've forgotten about him.
Yeah. So it's almost like it's the trusted like guys that seem to be on the team sheet already for the Proteas versus the guys that are knocking on the door. You know, the Peter Milan, Janaman Milan, Zubair Hamza, Calvin, George Lind. Like it's all of these guys that are knocking down the doors to be able to go into that side.
But what I think for tomorrow, what you might see is Peter and Janaman opening, Zubair at 3. They might try Tony DeZorzi at 4. With Calvin at 5 and Akona and Mgijima at 6, and then
very likely.
Yes, and if not, they might find a place for Matthew Kleinfeld somewhere there. But I think it'll be very tough for him to break that partnership between the brothers themselves.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about their bowling attack, though, man. Like I know,
so you've got,
if you're gonna play Unke, if you're gonna play Akona and you're gonna play Nandre, they're both left arm seamers. So like there's no balance really over there. They're gonna have to maybe trust Ziad Abrams early on, like giving a debut.
No, but remember also you might have to have 3 players of color unless if there's a request, and so you might have to you might have to play Nyaku, Onke Nyaku and Nandre Berger as your 2 left arm seamers. I don't know where they get that right arm seam, probably from Abrahams as well. But George Linder would be very good will obviously be the 4th bowler there as their spinner batting at the number 7. I'd like for him to bat a lot higher. Maybe even if Mgijima scored 100 this week, that means Linder might come behind him. But George Linder's a guy I want to bat higher up in the order, which might cause a little bit of a balance problem for the Cobras to start off with. But you need him on the field anyway as your spinner, and this is the season for George Linder to take away Keshav Maharaj's role as the Proteas' number 1 spinner with the bat. And we'll talk about the Dolphins later on. But this is the season where if you're a spinner in South Africa, you need to prove it with the bat.
Yeah. So I just want to let the fans know out there, if you want to call into the show and give your opinions, of course, then you just click on the link that's in the description. It is over there. You guys can just click on the link and you can come onto the show. Let's move on to the next teams. I mean, obviously, we've got the Dolphins that are going to be taking on your side.
So there's this one guy I want to talk about in the Titans is Greg Mahlokwana.
Yeah,
he's also
I
think he can bowl with either hand, which is fascinating for me. But what I think is someone I'm going to watch going forward, because obviously with Imran Manak going the other way, the Titans are short of a spinner, and he's probably going to get a lot more game time this season. So that's a guy we need to watch.
Yeah. Okay, let's get Lubabalo on the stream quickly. Welcome, Lubabalo. Welcome, Abai. You guys are all here. I'm going to swap the two of you because Abai's face is covered. So from your perspective, Lubabalo, let me go to you first. With regards to the Cobras versus Titans, we're starting over there because we kind of think that that's going to be one of those humdiggers. Obviously, with all the Proteas on display on the Titan side and the potential Proteas on the Cobra side, who do you think is going to stand out in this particular game? And how are the Cobras going to sort out their bowling? What is their bowling attack going to look like?
Thank you. Evening, guys. Sorry I'm late. I'm a bit sick. But yeah, it's going to be a tight one for the Cobras because their batting lineup looks solid. But it looks like they're lacking a bit of experience in the bowling department, which is probably something similar to the Titans as well. They also have a very good possible top five. It'll be interesting to see how they probably line up. A bowler that's going to be key for the Titans, though, is Lizard Williams. We know he also moved from the Cape Cobras, so he'll probably want to come out guns blazing against the Cobras. For the Cobras, bowling-wise, it's a tough one. They have quality bowlers, no doubt, but the experience is a bit of an issue there. Their bowlers are good, but all of them are a bit short on experience. You can look at a guy like Tsepo Moreki. He's been around, no doubt, but he also hasn't really played quite a lot of franchise cricket. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they line up in their first game.
Yeah. Do you think a guy like Corbin Bosch can get a start? It's going to be difficult to fit in another white bowler, I would say, in a side when you have a top six. Obviously, when you have a top five like that obviously with Peter Milan, Janneman Milan, Calverine, you want George Linde in the side as well. And then obviously you might be, and then you have Andre Berger, which is your five white players basically. It makes it difficult to pick your side because then obviously then you have someone like Tony De Souza has to play, and then Aviva Majima has to play. Then you have Zubair Hamza, obviously a player of color as well, and then you've got you're going to have to play that all-rounder, I think, Unke and Nyako, to be able to balance out the side, because that's the problem at the moment. If all the bowlers that are playing for all the main quick bowlers that are playing for the Cobras are white, so it's kind of like a difficult situation because that they find themselves in. I mean, the balance is going to be very tricky, but we'll see tomorrow what they do. Maybe they have someone that they pull out of their bag. I mean, maybe Ziad Abrams is one of those guys that are going to get a start. I haven't really seen him play, so I don't really know much about him. And this season, because of COVID, I never had a chance to go down to the nets and watch him play like I normally do. So I would have come here with all the information to tell you guys. But Bye, from your perspective, sorry, Lubabali, yes?
Go ahead.
I'm thinking they will probably look to play a guy like Nkijima. Apparently, he scored runs in the warm-up match they had, so they'll probably go for him as one of the all-rounders. Probably have him at 6 or 7. That's what I think they'll do because he also bowls quite a bit. So they'll probably have George Linde at 7 or 6, and then they'll have Nkijima at 7 or 6. And then they'll probably have Kyle at 5. But there's also a guy like, I'm not seeing him here, Jason Smith. I wonder if he's injured or not.
He's got an ankle injury.
That's a great point right there.
A massive injury. Like I saw him in a moon boot when at the launch at the new. Then now this I don't know if you want to talk about the sponsors.
The 6-gun grill Cape Cobras. Like really, guys.
Yes, that's the sponsor. That is the sponsor. It's a perfect sponsor because from a cricket perspective.
Yeah, Brying and
also the two words 6 and gun. Then we use it often, both of them in cricket terms. So
the name is quite long though. By the time you finish saying the six gun what are playing, though they would have lost a wicket or so. I'm joking.
It's going to be a problem for us commentators. The 6-gun grill Cape Cobras.
Yeah, it's going to be epic. I thought it was a brilliant launch. The launch video was quite phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. It's on the channel. You guys can have a check at that one.
Yeah.
Abhay, do you want to say anything on the? Sorry, Abhay, do you want to say anything on the Titans? You said you wanted to speak about the Titans.
Yeah, I think. The Titans they've changed their squad by quite a bit. So they got Sibs Makanya from the Dolphins, and then I think I hope I'm saying this right. They got is it Tele from the Dolphins as well. So
Clearly,
they've got a pretty young squad, and I think in the first game they look to make sure that they've got their perfectly balanced playing 11 set. But then again, I think they could be strong contenders in the first class tournament.
I agree with him there. They've got Ntini, they've got Dala, they've got Kele.
I did say that right.
Yeah, you did very well. And then I'm interested to see where Sibs is going to go in that top order, because you've obviously got that top four, and then you've got who was it? Grant Thompson, who has to fit in that top order. And so I don't want Sibs Makanya batting at 6, but it feels as though he might end up batting there, unless if they decide to drop Heinrich Klaassen, who's going to have the gloves, down to a 6 and have Makanya bat at 5 with Grant Thompson batting at 4. But it's something we're going to have to see. Also in that spin department, you don't know if Neil Brand or Mahlokwana will be chosen, but I think they'll go with Greg there. So
true.
Yeah, but obviously there's one opener that you guys need one batsman I think we all need to watch out for. I hope he gets a lot of game time. That's Kabelo Sikukune.
I was just about to say it. I was looking at his name now, and
totally forgot. I completely forgot.
I think for me, I was so happy. I was the happiest when he got his contract. I think he's a promising player, and I hope he gets a lot of game time. And Mandla and Jeff over there give him a lot more opportunities.
And guys, this is why you need to subscribe to this channel, because we got an amazing interview with him and his cousin, or they say he's his cousin, with Tumi as well, and together with them, both of them on the channel together, talking about their experience, how they have helped each other in their career. So go check that in the lockdown series. It's episode 50. It's the last on lockdown episode that we did. Then we moved on to Unlocked, because obviously after lockdown, get it. Lame, I know. But anyway, let's move on to the Dolphins and the Lions, if I'm getting that correct.
Yes.
And that's going to be a mouth-watering clash as well. We've got the old guard in a way against a new side as well, like a fresh, new up-and-coming, exciting side as well. Because, the Lions, if you look at them on paper, they're probably the most experienced side. And also, there's not a lot of shifting that went around there, only with regards to the bowlers. That's when the real... And one particular signing that I really like is Wesley Marshall going over to the Lions. Is go check that episode out. The way the man thinks about cricket, I just one of the best episodes I've done. Because he was so laid back. The way he thought about the processes, the conversations that he had with someone like Grant Thompson, who he played with at Easton's. It's phenomenal, the conversations and the way he thinks about cricket. So it's interesting to see where he's going to slot in. But we know that 3 bowlers, Tladi Bukaku, Sanda Magala, and obviously none other than Luto Sepamla. That 3, it's one of the most talented threes, though. But
Wandile Gwavu tonight, I'm sure you've already told the squad who's playing or whatever it is, or they might find out tomorrow morning. But you've got Magala Sepamla, Tladi Bokako, Siboto, Bjorn Hendricks.
Unbelievably stacked.
As your fast bowling attack. This team is stacked from every department. They've got all-rounders. They've got spinners. They've got batsmen. Aldred Hawken, who had the best average of all bowlers. He averaged 17 last year, taking 17 wickets. This team, I said it. I was telling Lesego this the other day. I was like, these guys are champions in waiting. The only thing that will stop them is which Proteas will leave the squad once the Proteas start playing international games. That's going to be but if you think about it, they still have Reza, they still have Dom, they still have Ryan Rickleton, they still have Josh Richards. They still will have probably, I'm assuming Vian Mulder will still be there if Dwayne Pretorius goes. They are stacked. And on top of that, they've got, they played that inter-squad tournament the past 2 weeks. And either team, if you put either team on the field, they could still win or even be competitive in this domestic season. I look at the Titans and everyone talks about the big names, the big Proteas. This team is unbelievable.
No, bro, it's ridiculous. It's like it's almost unfair. I mean, because like you're talking about people getting having their Proteas players in their side. Without their Proteas players, they are already formidable. And that's the crazy thing about it. Imagine if KG decides, ah man, I still got a little bit of energy in me. Give me a run.
Just
Give me a run.
KG after quarantine. Just to balance things out.
And they still got like, I mean, I saw this talent, Joshua Richards. I watched him at the Kaimajolo week. The boy's attitude, aggression, and his mental game, how hard he is on himself. Like that's what I love to see in a young player, man. When you make a mistake,
he took the Lions Awards last season. He took everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal player.
So,
and then you've still got Wean Mulder there, Delano Potgieter. I mean, flipped.
And that's the problem I think with that Wandile Guavu will have is what 11 does he put out, and how he gives the Protea players some game time, and because obviously we haven't played cricket in the past 6 months, so how do you balance Van der Dussen? You can have a top four of Reza Hendricks, Ryan Rickleton or Josh Richards, Temba Bavuma, Dominic Hendricks, Rassie van der Dussen, and you can have a Dwayne Pretorius in there with a Vian Mulder as your top 7. But you need obviously a wicketkeeper. Nicky van der Berg is just as good as a wicketkeeper batsman that we have in the country. And then on top of that, I don't know how he's going to please the rest of the guys. This team is unbelievable. But let's move on to the other side.
But they can play. They can almost play any style of cricket. They can change their squad according to whatever style they want to play. They can play an attacking brand. They've got right spinners, left arm spinners, right arm spinners. They've got left arm seamers, right arm seamers. Everything is balanced. They've got and they almost like have a player of color for almost every position in a way. Except obviously with regards to some of the top order batsmen. Obviously with Tando, I mean,
no, you've got Kagiso Rapulana.
Yeah, as well.
Jonty. And he's a very good batsman, I think.
Exactly.
With Temba, he's always Temba 4. When Temba goes to the Proteas, Kagiso bats at 4.
Yeah, that's incredible. Let's move on from them because we know that they're probably the favorites on paper. Let's go to Lubabalo's main man who's leading his side, Marcus Ackerman. Lubalo, get in there.
I was just looking at the Dolphins squad while you guys were speaking, and I'm a Lions supporter, but I think a big mistake that the Lions can make is to underestimate the Dolphins. Looking at this team, you have Cyril Elvy opening the batting with Grant there. You have Ackerman. You also have a possible KP who's going to come in. The Dolphins top 7 is quite promising. I'm also excited to see how many of their all-rounders will they play. They have Ruan in the squad, Ruan de Swad. He also moved from the Titans to the Dolphins. Quality all-rounder as well.
Yes.
They have an improving all-rounder in Andile Pechukwayo. I've seen his batting stats over the last couple of seasons. I think he averages 30, which is quite impressive. We've been saying we want him to improve his batting, so that tells you that he's improving. Their bowling attack, I'm also excited for Uli Fantanzi. I'm glad he's fit, and I'm sure the Dolphins will want to unleash the boy. They will definitely want to unleash him. So it's going to be an exciting game. I'm just sad we won't be able to watch any of the games. But the Lions have a quality side. I think the biggest issue that the coach is going to have throughout the whole season, how does he keep his players happy? Because the players are going to struggle to get game time. Is he going to have a policy where he says, "I'm going to rotate you guys"? Because we don't have we don't have KG back. Even when you take out all the Proteas players, you still have a quality possible top 11, and you still have quality on the bench. So the big ask for the coach is going to be how he keeps everyone happy. Because I can tell you now, guys like Luto probably moved for better chances, and they also wanted to bowl more in conditions that are most likely going to suit their bowling. Because I know it can't be easy bowling as a quickie in Port Elizabeth. So yeah, for the Lions, it's gonna be exciting to see, and I'm hoping my boy Ackerman can start the season on a high. I can see a lot of South Africans don't know how good this Bra is. I've been paying attention to a lot of people on Twitter, and a lot of people don't know how good this bra is. I can tell you now.
Yeah.
One day they're gonna know, though. One day they'll definitely.
And you know what? You know what the crazy thing about it is? Captaincy will make him a better player. That's the thing.
But here's the thing, guys. He's the third highest run scorer last season. He scored 660 at an average of 41.
And he did it in style. He did it in style.
Yeah.
There was a conversation that I had with him on also as well as on the Lockdown series when I brought Grant Rulofsson on the show, right? And they were talking about it. And I was asking him about his style of play. He's like, no, he needs to, like, he plays a very expensive brand of cricket, a very exciting brand of cricket. That's the style that Marcus Ackerman plays with. He likes to play shots, and sometimes he gets ahead of himself. But if he can get that discipline into his game, he's going to be a phenomenal four-day cricketer as well. We've seen what his ability was in the Blitz, and we can see what he does in the one-day cups. But I mean, in four-day cricket, I mean, I know you want to talk. I don't want to compare. I don't like to compare players. I don't like to say the next this or the next that or the next this. But with regards to that type of number 4 that is normally expansive and electric and can play expansive shots and can get the game ticking over quickly, something similar to like an A.B. de Villiers type of style of player that can play.
I was about to say he reminds me of a young A.B. de Villiers. By the way he goes, the way he just goes about his business. Not that he doesn't value his wicket. He's just the type of guy that won't let a bowler settle. He's not gonna stand there and let you bowl at him. He's not gonna stand there and let you come at him as a bowler. No, he won't. I always say he sometimes gets over eager. He gets over eager to score runs. He needs to tone it down a little bit. But at the same time, you don't want him to lose that. You look at a Quinton de Kock. That's probably how. That's another guy who's probably just the closest to how Ackerman bats. And you know, once he loses that, then you would have lost everything that's special about him. He just needs to tone it down a little bit. That's when he's actually going to be able to score a lot of hundreds. That's where he's actually going to be able to score big hundreds. He's a quality batsman. I wish he can go back to bowling his office. He bowls decent office because he stopped keeping. 2020 as a cricketer, if you want to bat top 6, you need to offer something else, not just batting, sadly. So if you can just try and go back to bowling his office, because if you can check his numbers, his bowling numbers, they're quite decent. Because I don't see him making the team with just his batting. It's hard to make the team these days if you're just gonna bat. So I'd like to see him. I know it's not gonna be easy for him to go back to keeping, but I'd like to see him bowl again.
Yeah. Can I just jump in here on the Dolphins? I think for me, the last game the Lions played with the Dolphins was the game that Temba Bavuma was told to go back and score runs, and he scored 180 in that match. The Lions lost that match, and they were playing in Pietermaritzburg on a slow pitch, and this is what the Dolphins do at home, and this is something that people need to consider, especially, which is why I love about South Africa, because you get different types of pitches around the country. The pitches the Dolphins normally put out are slightly slower than what is required, what you would normally expect on the Highveld, especially with Durban coming, that it was no longer that green mamba that everybody grew up on. It's a lot slower, which means that Mutusami and Subrayan, who are like the top 5 bowlers, wicket takers last year, or top 10, well, Subrayan was number 1, they come into the fray. So does Keshav. And that's the other question that the Dolphins have. They've got 3 pro-tier level spinners in Subrayan, Mutusami, and Keshav, and one's going to miss out tomorrow. If they play all 3 tomorrow, it means that possibly that pitch is going to be slow, it's going to dry out, and the Lions are going to be in for a very difficult time batting, because the ball's not going to come on as much as you want. And I think from that perspective, that's something that Imran Khan is going to have to try to figure out, a selection headache in terms, because they have the best spinners, they have the best conditions for spin in the country, and they use it well, and that's how they become a competitive force in this league. And so I think that's the one thing you got to watch: the number of wickets Subrayan gets, the number of overs Mutusami also gets, and if Kesh comes in, and Kesh also wants to be a Proteas captain, so he needs to find a way to lead this Dolphin side with the ball and also get an opportunity with the bat. And that also poses a problem for an Andile, because then Andile gets pushed down the order. I won't be surprised if tomorrow Andile bats at 8 or even 9. based on the way this team is shaping up, and that's very disappointing from a Graham Smith, director of cricket, and also a Victor Mpitsang type of situation. I would have been happy if Andile actually moved over to the Titans. The Titans have a slot there that Dan Khalim is filling. It's a little bit tough, but maybe add some competition there, and Andile could get game time. But that's the type of stuff that I think the Dolphins will struggle with this season, especially. But obviously, if the Proteas if Keshav leaves to go play for the Proteas, it becomes an easier 1-2 punch with Mutusami and Subraya.
Yeah, and guys, you mustn't sleep on the batting ability of Rwanda Swart.
Yeah,
then people do not sleep on that.
I think Mpo, I understand why you're saying Andile should have moved. But remember, one of the reasons Ruan left is because he was struggling to get game time because Khalim, he took that position and made it his own. That's one of the reasons why Ruan decided to leave. That's also one of the reasons why a guy like Neil Brand is struggling to make the side consistently as an all-rounder. So it's not that easy because they also have Thompson, who's there as an all-rounder as well.
Yes,
and he's a captain. So it's quite easy. It's quite difficult. But I'll also like to see Andile getting to bat at 7 at least. Just let him bat to 7 consistently because your keeper is already opening the batting, which makes things quite easy for.
Unless if Mangi bats lower down, and then you have Andile up slightly higher. Because they've got Mosetle as the keeper this season.
Yeah. With regards to Abai?
All right, so I think if we were to look at a pretty general perspective, I'd like to call it push-pull factors when it comes to transfers. So in some cases, some players are pushed out kind of because they can't find game time often enough. And then the pull factors would be looking to advance further. So I think with regards to the Dolphins, I think Keegan Peterson could be a very strategic signing. I mean, he left the Knights to play at a test cricket venue as his home ground. So I think that could be very beneficial for him. Not only that, he's a pretty classic longer format player. He bides his time well, and he can score pretty quickly too. So I think even though the Lions seem like pretty hot favorites, Dolphins could give them very good competition.
That was great points made, and I mean, Sadiq says in the thing, who would you pick, Brandt or Thompson? I think Thompson every day because Thompson's captain. So I think that's like a no-brainer with regards to that. Can we move on a little bit and come back to some of the standout? Because I want at the end of the stream, I want to kind of say who's going to be like your top. You can like say your top 5 players of the tournament. We see if we get there. Let's just go on to the next game, which I think is going to be quite a tough one with regards to the Warriors because after this COVID struck. The biggest problem with this COVID cases are that it's happened to all the players of color, majority of them. So they're going to have to. I think they're going to have to sign a letter or write a letter to.
Yes, they've already submitted an application. Yes,
okay,
they've submitted an application to CSA to bypass this transformation ruling because this is extraordinary circumstances.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Clinton out. I mean, flipping Clinton is one of their best players. He's gone. I mean, their captain Yasin Vali's gone.
It's Clinton, it's Vali, it's Tashile. I think Lisiba. Yes. Yeah.
So this means, do you think that Gian Klute will have to take the gloves now and have to play now? With this particular, is Gian Klute there, or is he one of the guys?
I didn't see.
Yeah, he is
on the.
He is there. He is there.
Okay, cool. Then.
He is on the squad. I think with the gloves they also have an option of having Pritzker keep because he keeps up for them now. And Rudy second, but it also depends. If you're gonna go to look to Matthew Pritzker to keep wickets, where do you want? Where are you still gonna make him open? Because I feel at the moment he's trying to get he's trying to find his feet when it comes to 4-day cricket, but he started extremely well in the wide stuff. So you wouldn't want to burden him with the gloves because he's still trying to find his form and his consistency. So it's gonna be exciting to see. Sadly, there are so many players missing out. but it'll be exciting to see how they line up. A guy like Marco Marais could get a chance. But I think they're going to look to the experienced guys, though. A guy like Bashir Walters, very experienced, very clever bowler as well. So I think they'll probably look to him to lead the attack. And there's a guy that I'm not seeing here, the left armer, Stephen Tate. I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
Didn't he move to the Warriors?
He is in the. He's supposed to be in the squad. Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm not seeing him here.
Oh, it's crazy because in the squad that I have on my site, Stephen Tate is the first name on the sheet, and then Matthew Brzezinski. So I don't know what happened with
the one that I have. The one that I have, they have Eddie Moore as the first one. But yeah, if they have him on the squad, that's also good because he will strengthen their bowling attack as well. They'll probably Eddie is probably going to lead them because they decided to take the gloves away from JJ. Or they might go back to JJ until Vali comes back. But I'm just thinking when it comes to their bowling, they'll probably look to guys like Walters. They'll probably stick with a guy like Jade de Klerk as well. Marcelo Pitt is a quality bowler as well. But you also don't want to have too many bowlers who are similar. Because if you have Bash and you have Nabe and you have Marcelo, they probably just a little bit similar. That's why I was asking if Tate is in the squad. So it's a headache for their coach, but it's also at the same time probably giving him a chance to see the depth
the other players,
the core guys, because those are the core guys. Yeah,
a guy like Marco Jansen, a guy like Vian Libbe, Vian Libbe might have an opportunity. Jade de Klerk is a very talented as well, but I think Marco Jansen's they're gonna trust Marco Jansen as their main. They're gonna really put I think Robin Peterson loves Marco Jansen. From what I've seen from him with regards to Kaya Majolovic, etc., I know he's a big fan of Marco Jansen. So I think that's going to be one of their main bowlers in the side. He's also a left armer and an all-rounder as well. So that's also another option. But I think a guy like Vian Libbe, it's an opportunity for him to maybe bat up the order, show what he has, what capabilities he has to be able to really stake a claim for international cricket all around the board. People actually don't rate him as much in the 4-day competition. But I watched him score a flipping great 100 at Paul. That really stood out.
I've got one name to mention. Yeah, I don't think we mentioned Lasiba Ngwepe. He did well in the One Day Cup last time around. Even though he's primarily a batsman, he's also able to bowl some left arm spin. I don't think we've seen that so much, but if we look at his stats in recent times, he seems to be a very improving player, and I think he's one to look out for without a doubt.
Yeah,
he's one of the players missing out. He's one of the players affected by COVID, sadly. Yeah, but he's a quality batsman and he bowls some decent spin as well. With Vian Libbe, I think if Vian plays, he allows them that opportunity to play probably 4 seamers. If you have JJ and Vian, one bowls slow left arm, the other bowls right arm off spin, so they would actually complement each other as opposed to having JJ and Jade in the same team who pretty much bowl the same thing. So if you have both JJ and Vian Libbe in the same top 7, you probably have you have 2 extra bowlers, spinners, who are very different from each other, which adds to your variation as well.
And here's another thing that I think we need to consider with the Knights and the Warriors. It's that, so when you play games across pools, you only play the team once. So essentially, I think, yes, Robbie P will want to win this one, but it's not as important as playing your inter-pool rival, i.e. being the Titans and the Cobras, and you've got 2 games at that. So it's something that possibly, I know Robbie's not going to go out and try and lose the game, but it's something to consider, to say that, okay, fine, from an important standpoint, yes, it's the first game of the season. The other question is, when do those people come back from isolation? Because the next round starts next week.
Yeah,
so he might have another headache next week, Monday again.
Yeah.
And so I think I do think the names you guys named for the Warriors, I think are very good, and I think they will be competitive. It's not as though we're literally gutting the team entirely with those 6 players, even though those are the 6 players who probably would have played. So I think from that perspective, but what you watch in a Warriors team is that top order. Eddie Moore, Matthew Bretzker, JJ Smuts, possibly even Van Libben, Marco Murray. Those guys need to keep the Warriors in this game against the Knights. The Knights' bowling attack have got guys like Joe Kutsia and Bulelo Budaza,
Miguel Pretorius
from the Lions as well. But that's going to be very important
as well.
Yeah, and the fact that they're also playing in Bloom, it just could be a run scoring game with 100 with runs.
Don't sleep on Marco Janssen's brother, Dwan Janssen. They identical players. They're identical players. The difference is their personality. Literally, it's crazy. Dwan Janssen was unlucky with injury. That is ultimately what it is.
That Knights top 7 in draw is playing in Bloom, hey?
Yes,
that Knights top 7. They will make your bowlers fetch later the whole day in Bloom. Like all of them, from the openers to Juan Dilemma at 7, they enjoy playing in Bloom.
And bro, they've added
last season.
They've added substance into that top 4. Now, they've got guys that can bat for days, man. Reinhard van Tonder. First of all, Reinhard van Tonder will bat for you out of the park. He will bat for days. Then they've added Matthew Kleinveld, who can bat for days as well. Can you imagine? That batting lineup? It's very strong. It's very strong.
And then you've got Fadji there in the middle order, just doing what he does.
Jonathan Van Dier
for years. I don't think Van Dier is going to start tomorrow. I'd be surprised if he does.
Ice Van Bouillon.
Yes. They've got Pite as
Jonathan Van Dier as well.
Yeah, if there was a game that was going to end in a draw, it's this one.
And Josh Snyman is a good player.
Because on the other end, Eddie Moore. Yes.
I was saying, I think what I'm excited to see more with regards to the Knights is where they bet Reinhard van Tonder. A lot of people want him to bat at 3, and apparently he also wants to bat at 3. So I want to see where the coach is going to use him. He scored runs opening. Personally, I was happy with him opening, but I understand the fact that if he's going to stay as an opener, it might also delay his progress in terms of making the Proteas side, because he's a bit behind guys like Eddie Moore, for instance, when it comes to openers in the pecking order. He's a quality batsman, and I'm sure he would still do well at 3. So for me, I'm excited to see how they line up, and I'm also excited to see that bowling attack of theirs. Hey, they have some serious bowlers there. Will they start using Gerald Coutier as an all-rounder at 7? Because he's capable, very capable of that. But another thing with him, I hope he can stay fit for the whole season.
Yes.
I think that's one box he wants to tick this season.
But having someone like Alan Donald is going to play a massive difference. Obviously, Alan Donald is the coach, because he can give him that guidance with regards to that, how to keep fit, how to make sure that he doesn't overbowl himself, because he's the type of guy that just wants to run in and bowl as fast as possible. Andrich Nokia has shown it very great, showed this, because at the beginning, all Andrich wanted to do is just bowl as quick as possible. He learned how to compose himself, when to bowl fast, when not to, when to bowl the slow ball, when not to. He's learned how to manage his career a lot better, Andrich, now, and he spells a lot better. So having a guy like, obviously, Alan Donald there to help him out will make a massive difference to him. Reinhard van Tonder, you see, what I love about Reinhard is that he didn't complain when he was told to open the batting. He just took it, and then he said, "I'm going to do it." And he came in. He scored a massive. I think he scored a massive century. I think at the beginning when they originally played him. And then he came, then he left, then he was obviously dropped again, because obviously with regards to captaincies and stuff like that, that's going to happen. When Pite van Viljoen came back into the side, he kind of lost his way. I'm talking about when he played some cameos. But then last season, he had a full season, and look what he did, opening the batting. I mean,
averaging 70.
He's ridiculous. And the boys, we have a knockout episode with him as well. He's a guy that I'm very fond of. And you can hear how he speaks, the way he carries himself, his mentality. And it's one of those situations, and this is why I love Shukri Conrad at the under 19 level at the moment as coach, because a lot of these boys came through him with regards to the high performance academies and of and emerging sides and etc. Shukri's played a massive role with these boys with regards to a mental capacity. If you listen to the way Matthew Brzezinski, René van Tonder, Marcus Ackerman speak about Shukri and the influence he's had on them from a mental perspective, you'll really be shocked at how much influence he's had on so many young players. And that's why I love the fact that he is there at that SA under 19 level, because he's going to feed so many young talent with the right mentality into franchise cricket and provincial cricket. We're going to have mentally strong boys coming through that system. Very tough coach, and I need to get an interview with him actually when he comes back from the academy. Have an interview and chat with him about the progress of the side. But is there anything else you guys want to say about the Knights?
Yes,
maybe?
So in this Knights team, the one guy, I'll Abai, you'll just follow me there. Juan Dilemma is one guy I think is him and Kashile. This should be a breakthrough season. They've been here. Juan Dilemma's found a nice spot in Bloom. I think this could be their season to kind of open up. And I'm looking at that from a wicket-keeping perspective as well as a batting perspective. There's a guy, I think his name is Snyman. He played for the Lions last year in the Mzansi Super League. He's also another all-rounder to look out there, because in South Africa right now, the position you want to be in is an all-rounder, because that's the one spot in the team where you will be guaranteed a look in by Smith and Victor Pitsang. And I think Snyman's a really, really good one. Byte van Biljon, Farhan Behardine, that middle order with Makwetu, that's solid. I'm a fan of Sean van Berg, but I do think they need to find another spinner. I don't know where they're going to get him from. But I think that's where Alan Donalds might struggle a bit, especially with the inexperienced bowling attack. Gerald Kutsia. You've got Alfred Mota, who's also quite good. Miguel Pretorius can bowl as well. Budaza did well in the limited overs game. This team, similar to the Dolphins, looks more limited overs strong rather than necessarily a 4-day type of game. But that's going to be something we're going to watch tomorrow. I think luck falls on their side with the fact that obviously the COVID kind of hit the Warriors, and they're not facing a fully fit, full strength Warriors team. So it's kind of like whoever wins this game, it's a plus for them, because they automatically go to the top of their mini groups. And they'll have come out, with a little bit of I'd say they'd be happy to come out of this with a win. I think it'll be a draw.
So before I bring on Sadiq, Abai, what you wanted to say something? Abai, can you hear us? Abai?
Okay, I think he's just talking into his mask.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Abai. Oh, he's disconnecting. Okay, cool. Abai, you back? No, we can't hear you. I'm gonna have to kick you, bro. Come, rejoin. I'm just gonna add Sadiq quickly. Sadiq, how's it, bro? What you want to say, mate?
I'm good. Yeah, I was trying to get your touch in about the new season is starting, and the top 5 you were talking about, the top 5 you think who can perform well and make a name for themselves. I would like to name them, my top 5 for the new season.
Awesome. Go ahead,
so I would go Rian Ventonda, Gerald Koji, and then Edward More from Warriors. I think he's from Warriors. Yeah, I would like him to perform well and be that opener for the Proteas. I like his batting style. I see a little bit of him in the Momento One Day Cup. And then in the spinners, I would like to see who is the backup spinner Proteas has got. I would love Subriyan to perform well and be in the top list.
Okay, awesome. And he's gone like the wind. Thank you for that top list. That was awesome. Abai, you back, bro?
Yes, I'm back. So I'm going to go through all 6 teams, and I'm going to pick 1 or 2 players that I'm looking forward to see. So I'm going to start with the Cobras. I'm going to say Tony DeZorzi for sure, because I think this is an interesting move. it's going to be a fresh new start of the Cobras, and we'll see how he goes at the top of the order. So Tony DeZorzi for the Cobras. Then let's go to the Titans. I would have to say probably Dayan Halim. I think since the retirement of Callis, we're really in search of a quality all-rounder, and I think as and when he gets more and more game time, he'll improve. So Dayan Halim for Titans. Warriors, I would probably have to say Marco Murray or maybe Vian Lubbe, because I think they could be pretty close to T20 plans for South Africa. Let's see, Gerald Coetzee for the Knights. For the Dolphins, probably I'm going to say Marcus Ackerman for sure. I think Lubabalo is going to like that. And and Lions, I'm going to say, let me think here. It's so many good choices, but I'm going to go with Luto Sepamla because he played a handful of games for the Proteas, and this is his moment to make sure that he's going to be a sure starter in the not too distant future. So I think I went through all the teams. And lastly, I'm going to say, Khalid, thanks for having me, and it was great seeing the upcoming season with you guys, Lubalo and Mpo, and looking forward to the magazine coming out soon. So, and if you haven't read the last magazine, get on the site and subscribe. It's never too late. Thank you.
Yeah. That Abai is a real crowd pleaser. Yes, thank you a lot, Abai. Check you out, bro. Thanks a lot. And with regards to that magazine, the link is on the screen and in the description if you guys want to download that magazine. The next magazine is coming out tomorrow. We've got a special guy on the front cover, a really awesome feature that I really want you guys to have a read at. It's going to be a nice, refreshed issue. Guys, Mpo, you want to give me one person maybe from each team that you think is going to... One person
from each team.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start with who's really going to stand up. Okay. I'll give you, so from each team, I'll give you one who's going to stand up and one I'm going to be watching. I think the person who's going to stand up in the Dolphins is I think Marcus Ackerman. I think he's flying under the radar. But he scored the third most runs in the four-day competition last year. I think he's the guy who I think no one's talking about, but is going to add a lot of value to this Dolphin side. The person I'm watching in this Dolphin side, there are two people. I want to see how they reintegrate David Miller. His hopes of being part of the test team are still not dead. He simply believes he wants to continue to play. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage him. Because I think he's a great four-day player. I just felt that obviously the Proteas have always had someone who is better in that position, and obviously how they handle Andile, I think that's going to be important. Looking at the Lions, the guy who I think is going to do well, Proteas aside, I'm going to say Josh Richards. I think he's gonna do quite well once all the Proteas start walking out of the side. I think he might even open tomorrow, even with the Proteas coming in. And then the person who I'm going to be watching closely is how Sisanda Magala integrates into this Lion side. We know how great Lutus Pamela can be. Magala adds a little bit more, yes, from a white ball context, but I think he can do something with the red ball. If let's say you use a Björn Hendricks, Pamela, and Aldred Hawken and a Magala of quintet at the Wanderers, that would be something I'd love to see. That would just be incredible, but something I'd like to see at the Wanderers. From the Knights' perspective, Makwetu's going to be that guy that gives the Knights that extra punch like he did last year. He's going to step up in his development, and I think he's the guy at the Knights that's going to be... Yes, Reynard Fantonda's great, guys. I love him to bits, but I think he's going to be the guy who's going to step it up for this team. And yes, they've got Farhan Behadin. They're going to be hard to break down. Those 7 wickets for the Knights are going to be the toughest, I think, outside of the Lions and be the toughest in the domestic season to get, because I think these guys are just gun batsmen. And then obviously Gerald Coetzee is the guy I want to watch closely in his first season. I think he's on a path to become a Protea. And this is the moment we got to see how he's going to develop under the tutelage of Alan Donald. From a Warriors perspective, it's Kashile is the guy I'm watching this season. I think he needs to step up again. He didn't have a great season last year, average 25 in 4-day cricket. I think I believe in him. I love him. I believe that he's also a Protea potential. So he's the guy I'm watching. The guy I think that's gonna be the main catalyst, the guy who's gonna do well, I think, is Matthew Brietzka. I think last year was his first season. This year he'll come through. Eddie Moore can't get out, guys. On a flat pitch, be my guest. Anybody bowled to him, he's not gonna get out. And then the last match up for the game, the Cobras under Ashwell Prince. I know Abai mentioned Tony DeZorzi. But the guy I want to see is Jonathan Bird. I don't know how they're going to integrate him into that 11, but I think coming from the under-20s, I think he's someone that South Africa should look into. The guy who's going to do well this season is Yanaman Milan at the top of the order. I think nobody considers him as a red ball opener and a red ball player, but I think he adds a different dimension to a Protea setup if you want an opener who's not necessarily, everyone's naturally attacking, but he looks to score more often than not. And I think he's a guy who might add that extra spice at the top. And then from a Titans perspective, Tando Ntini is the guy I'm watching with Gabelo Sekukune. I want to see how Tando can handle being in the side where he's no longer a backup like he was last year. He played a few games last year, but now this is his one season in a bowling attack that's probably going to be looking to him to take quite a few wickets. Junior Dollar on the red ball scene hasn't been that great, but I think this is Tando's season to try and step up in probably the most fast bowler-friendly pitches in the country. And then the batsman who I think is going to do well and always do well, it's Grant Thompson, but the other guy is Tiernis de Bruin. Tiernis wants to come back into the Protea side. I don't know how the selectors are considering him or how they see him as a batsman in the Protea setup, but he's one guy I know is a domestic bully and is a bully nonetheless.
Awesome. Lobabalo, over to you, brother. Wait, before you start, that deserves a subscribe, guys. Come on. Get it in there. Lobabalo?
I'm gonna start with the Titans. I'm looking at the squad here. For me, I like going for the underdogs, man. When it comes to players to look out for the Titans, Diego Rosier, quality batsman. He's a very mature batsman, quality player of spin as well. I know with guys like Dean, Aiden, De Bruyne still there. Aiden Klaassen, he's probably not going to get a chance yet. But yeah, once they probably go back to international cricket, I think he's one guy who's going to cement that position at that number 4. He's a quality batsman. With bowler, I'm looking at Lizard Williams. I feel this is the season where he's going to come guns blazing. I watched an interview and he mentioned how he would still like to play for the Proteas, which is probably why he moved from Cobras to the Titans. And you look at that attack, he's probably going to be leading the attack with a guy like Junior Dala. We know he was captain at Cobras every now and then when their captain was not there. He's a good leader for a bowler. He's also no mark with the bat, by the way. I've seen him score a couple of runs when the team needs them. So for me, with the Titans, it's Diego Rosier and Lizard Williams. I don't want to go to the guys that we know. Aiden Makram, Dean Elgar. Yeah. We're expecting runs from them, man. I don't see them struggling. And this is probably the lowest level they've played. We've seen what they can do in international cricket. So I'm expecting runs from them anyhow. With the Dolphins, I'm not going to go to Ackerman. The only thing I'm expecting from Ackerman is to start converting. I think one of the reasons why he only finished 3rd on the charts is because he wasn't converting a lot of 50s. They're not really starts, by the way, in 2020. A 50 is something close to a start, but it's not really a start. But yeah, I'd like to see him convert. But a guy I'm looking forward to, 2 guys, Lifantanzi and Ruan this one. I hope Ruan gets some game time. He's a gun all-rounder. I hope Lifa hasn't lost his pace because of being injured. He's one exciting bloke, and he has gas. So I can't wait to actually see how he goes about his business. And then let's go to the Warriors. It's said that they've lost so many players. I'm looking at a guy like Marco Janssen. I think at nights he didn't do badly when he played. They probably didn't have room for him anymore. We don't know, but yeah, he did well when he played for them. And the other guy that I'm looking at is Vihan Lube. I'm sure he wants to make a mark in red ball cricket, because I don't know what's going on with us as South Africans. We are into that phase where we start boxing players. No, this is a white ball player. No, this is a red ball player. But if you ask the players, they'll tell you, no, I want to play all three formats. So I'm sure Vian is one of those guys who will be looking to prove us wrong, that we shouldn't box him. He's a quality red ball batsman as well. And then the Cape Cobras. Excited to see how they would line up. Their top three is set. So I don't agree with the buy that Tony is going to bat three or is going to bat in the top three, because they have the Milan Brothers and you have Hamza at three. So if Tony plays, he'll probably play at four if he does play. So it's going to be exciting to see how he goes. To be honest, he has the talent and potential to succeed at four. He has the cricket shots. He has the quality to be a proper number four and in the longer format. So it will be exciting to see how they use him there. The other guy that I'm looking forward to see, let's see. I don't see him getting much game time though. Corbin Bosch is one of the guys that I rate. I'm for the opinion that as much as KG won that World Cup, but it was a combined bowling effort. Because if we look at when guys like Corbin performed, when guys like KG performed, I think the fact that KG was the quickest, it's how we just got sold to him, because it was a combined bowling effort. So I'm looking forward to see how Corbin does. I like how he thinks about cricket. I watched his interview with Khalid here, and how he spoke about how cricket was played in Australia. Honestly, that's the kind of cricket that I want to play. He spoke about Oaks coming out, having to chase so many runs, but when they go out, they tell each other that this is a game of cricket and we can chase this down. We're not just gonna fight. We're gonna give it to them, and that's where I want the Proteas to get as a team. Be a team that comes out, doesn't try to survive, but makes the other team put the other team on the back foot. Doesn't matter how many runs you're chasing down. And then whoever left out, the Lions. Oh, I don't even know who to choose from the Lions.
Just watch them all, bro. Just watch them all. It's fine. The country must see what good cricket is. That's all it is.
I did a post on my Facebook. I think it was a week ago. I said players I'll be paying, keeping an eye on. I chose players for other teams. When I got to the Lions, I was like everyone, because that's how it is. But yeah, to be honest, the guy like Ryan Rickleton, he's one of my favorites. Too many people boxing him into a white ball player, and he's not. He's a quality red ball player as well. So I'm thinking this season for him, it's one of those seasons where he will probably want to show us. Will he get game time in red ball cricket? Well, let's see. Because they have a guy like Josh, they have a guy like Dom Hendricks as well. We have a lot of openers in that side, so it's gonna be hard for him to make the team. But as soon as he makes the team, I'm sure he's gonna make it count. The other bowler with the Lions that I'm bowling, it's an all-rounder, Dilano Potgieter. I'm excited at the fact that we have so many all-rounders in our setup. I've heard a lot of people saying, no, South Africa is short of all-rounders. No, we have so many all-rounders. You can make more than 3 starting 11s with all-rounders only. So yeah, I'm excited to see him. He's probably going to struggle to make the team when Pretorius is there, when Vian is there. But I'm sure he's going to take his chances the minute he gets a chance to play. And then we go to the Knights. My favorite player in the Knights, Juan Dilemma. He had a fantastic season last season. He was 3 matches late because he was injured. So I want to see how he's going to go when he actually starts from first game. Because I've also noticed a trend with the youngsters. They have a good first season, full season, and then the second season becomes a challenge. So I want to see how he actually jumps that stumbling block. I rate him. He's a quality batsman. He's a very matured batsman for his age, by the way, which is probably why they also see a leader in him. I believe he's their vice captain. He was their vice captain even last year when their captain wasn't there. They used to give him the captaincy, and he's very matured. He is a gun batsman and a gun keeper too. And the other person with the Knights that I'm looking at, the twin. I think it's going to be exciting to actually track both twins down to see how they do it. I'm sure they will probably have some competition going between the two of them. I'm sure of that. And as much as I was sad that Marco left the Knights, I like the fact that the minute he left, they fetched his brother. He opened a room for his brother to actually play franchise cricket, so we can actually see both of them play. Both of them are all-rounders, by the way, so it'll be exciting to see how they go. Those are also the two players. Juan Johnson, I'm looking forward to seeing with the
they could play each other tomorrow.
Yeah, that's also going to be exciting. See why we want to watch this game. See why we want to one of the
exactly
bowling to the other. It would be exciting. We're missing out on a lot of quality.
Yeah.
So
There's one player that I left out with the Titans is that I want to see is thingy. What's his name? His name escapes me. It is Sponelo Makanya. Sorry. I think his move to the Titans in that middle order, not even lower middle order, in that middle order for the Titans after the Proteas, I think he's going to be some guy who might actually enjoy batting with quality batsmen from the Proteas, especially with Mandla there as coach and Jeff as well. I think it was a great move for him when he moved. We all were happy about it, and he's the next guy. If there's a guy, if you want a black batsman knocking on the door, it's him, Makwetu, Tashile, who are there, and that's a guy you need to watch. If you're asking about black batsmen, that's the kid.
Surprising nobody mentioned Kyle Zondo into the equation there. Eh?
Look, I love
one of the guys that just could never just step that extra bit further, man. You know what I mean? Like he knocks.
I think it's falling over there. I think it's falling over there a bit. But if you look at his performances, never mind last season. Look at 3 seasons before last season. He was actually doing well. He had a bit of consistency. Even with the Durban Heat that season, he was their best batsman. I was surprised not to see him start the following season. But I think he's falling off. Hopefully he can fight for his spot. I rate him. He's a good batsman. And with what Umpo said with regards to Sibs, I think Sibs needed a guy like Joff, to be honest. That guy is going to be a coach and still be a father figure. He's very young. He's been struggling. The only thing he's probably been struggling with is consistently scoring. He scores when he scores, but he either doesn't score big enough or it doesn't score consistently enough. I don't like the fact that he also doesn't bowl as much as he used to bowl at under 19 level. I remember I used to follow him a lot at that level. He was scoring, he was taking wickets. So I was hoping that he would never stop bowling. But for the Dolphins, I realized that he wasn't bowling a lot. It was just one of those people that they throw the ball if the other team is 550. You just want to see what he can do. I think he's
I think on Kaya Zondo. Yeah, I think on Kaya, I think I like him as a batsman. I think he just never broke that ceiling. And that ceiling comes, I think, with also a change in scenery. I think for a lot of players, especially a lot of black players, you can get comfortable inside a franchise, and sometimes you need to move out and see the world and experience different coaches to become better. And I think Kaya needs that
move for him.
Yes, that's a great franchise.
Very good move for him.
Yes,
and you could have given him that edge that. And if they needed a black African batsman, okay, yes, Tony D'Souza is now moved there. So I love Tony D'Souza. I'm happy he's here. So I'm not complaining.
But even at the Warriors, I think he'd come in at that number 5 spot there, and Robbie Pisa would give him that. Not saying that Imran Khan isn't. It's just a mental space type of thing. Sometimes when players, like you look at how Makwetu's attitude towards the game changed in the way he played when he left the Titans to move to the to the Knights. Similar, and that's the type of stuff we're expecting from Magala and Pamela, that step up, because you're in a different scene. It's something different, and you're learning new. And I'm all for players learning different things from different coaches, because that's how you grow as a person and as a cricketer. And in South Africa, you can't always be just in one place learning one thing. And that's how he would get himself back into the Proteas setup. If not this year, maybe he might be on the radar and he might get a visit from Neil McKenzie. And that could maybe change his game up. But that's the type of things that we need to watch out for this season, how players develop in new franchises, because that's exciting. I think Tando's going to get a lot of wickets in Pretoria. He's going to go buck wild as well.
So I'm going to run through my selections quickly. It'll be very quickly. So I'm just going to go for the Knights. I'm going to go with Reina van Tonder because I'd like to see him get to do it in a second season. I want to see because that will show his mental capability. I'm going to go with the Warriors. I'm going to probably go with Matthew Breske. I think Matthew Breske, it's his time now to actually step up and become that main guy for the Warriors as well. I know he also needs to work on his conversions as well. Similarly to Marcus Ackerman, he's a guy that also needs to work on his conversions as well. I think it's a time for him to be able to step up. I also really want to see Vian Lubbe succeed, and I think the move over there was brilliant for him, and I really want to see what Vian Lubbe can do. For the Cobras, my pick is Kyle Verreynne. Kyle Verreynne has been consistent for the last 3 seasons, and I want to really see him take his game to the completely different next level. I'm hoping that he can bat a little higher now, up the order, maybe at 5, consistently at 5, 6. Obviously, he doesn't have David Bedingham and him were very good together, always had a very good partnership. I want to see how he connects with someone like Tony De Zorzi, a guy like obviously. Yeah, and
I think Jason Smith is probably going to be batting at 5 for them. So maybe he might bat 6.
Yeah, but Jason's basically out for the whole season. So he's like, I think he told me 3 months or something like that. He's out for. He's out for a long time. He has.
I think it's 7 weeks.
7 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time. He's out for. He has a moon boot on at the moment, so.
No, but he'll be back for the January. So that's the thing. For the second half of the season, Jason Smith should be back. That gives him I'm assuming it'll give him about 8 innings. That's 4 matches. It's a small sample size, but it's a taste. And he won't go to Pakistan, but he'll probably set himself up for the game for the Proteas selection if he does well in the middle of 2021, when probably Faf and the old guard move out. So I think maybe the rest could help him.
Yeah, you see, there's only 2 games in December that they play, and then they only play in February again 1 game. So
yeah,
it's one of those situations where it's just unfortunate for him, because it's the season. This was his season, main all around in the side. Everybody else is left. It was his season, and it's so unlucky. Where was I? I was the Cobras. I think I want Kyle Verreynne is, in my eyes, and I know you guys might hate me for saying this, but from the keeper coach that I've spoken to that has worked with Kyle Verreynne, we've come to the consensus from a technical perspective, wicket-keeping perspective. From a technical perspective, he's possibly the best wicket-keeper in the country. Now I'm even saying, I would even go by saying that he's better than Quinton de Kock when it comes to keeping, because of one particular reason. There was one particular analysis that I heard this coach tell me, is that you won't notice Kyle Verreynne as much because he doesn't dive as much. He doesn't do those spectacular diving catches. The reason for that is because his positioning is brilliant. And he knows that he needs to take those double steps, and then he only dives if he really, really, really needs to dive. If it's supposed to be a last resort. It's not supposed to be used as a weapon every single second, every single time a catch comes your way. So his positioning is so good that you won't see him dive a lot, only when it's necessary. So from a technical perspective with the gloves, Kyle Verreynne is a phenomenal keeper. There was one game I remember, I was working with this coach, and he called him and he said, please just stand over there on that side so you can watch me keep from behind him. I'm doing all my stuff correctly. That's how he thinks about his game. And we stood there for a couple of overs. Obviously, you have to swap sides, but we stood there for a couple of hours just to watch him for a few overs, watching his technique, watching what he does, the way he knows exactly where his bowler is going to bowl. He puts himself in the right position that he knows that, okay, cool, I have enough room to take the double step and catch. I don't have to make a double step and dive. Like you'll notice those small little things in his game. I think he's a phenomenal batsman, and I think he can actually make it really far just as a batsman. He doesn't even have to do it as a keeper, but he's a phenomenal keeper in my eyes. One of the best going around. With regards to the Titans, I think it's a tough one for me here, but I think that it's time for Dayan Khalid to show that he's a national ability, that is good enough to play national cricket now. There's a vacancy, as an all-rounder in the Proteas side, that people are looking for that solid all-rounder, even though I think that they're going to be leaning towards Wiaan Mulder in the future as that number 7, and he's going to be my pick for the Lions as well, because I think Wiaan had also some unluckiness with regards to injuries. Never really got a full proper season to really showcase his talent and really play consistently. But I think for me, in the Titans game, I think in the Titans side, I think someone like Dayan Khalid. I don't want to take the guys that you guys have picked, because I obviously think Lizard Williams is going to be a phenomenal signing for them. But I think Dayan Khalid is a guy that really is going to step up. I'm interested to see if Ruben Heerman is going to get any chance there, because I mean he's been floating around there. I think he needs an opportunity some time to actually play some games. For the Dolphins, I think 100% for me is KP. He had that amazing season. He's had a couple of spread out amazing seasons. Great season, then he skipped the season. Great season, then he skipped the season. But then he had that amazing season where he scored almost 900 runs, I think. And then now he didn't do so well last season. So moving.
Well, but last year he got stuck between the Proteas and the Knights, and that kind of takes away, because he missed. I think he missed about 2 to 3 rounds just hanging around the Proteas. And batting with Jacques Callis. There was one round where I was irritated. He was batting with Jacques Callis, but I was like, dude, the Knights actually need you more. Yeah. So that's a little bit unfair.
Yeah. So KP for me, a guy that I think can really step out to be a consistent batsman in that position for them over there, in number 3 position there at the Dolphins. Lions, let's just not talk about that. I think I'm going to pick Wiaan Mulder in that side, because Wiaan Mulder in that side, because I think Wiaan Mulder needs an opportunity to really have a proper run. He has a lot of competition, and I think it's going to really put him on his toes. When you look at that bench and you see Delano Potgieter hot on your heels, and you see the guys that are waiting there in the wings.
And you have a Protea in front of you.
And you have a Protea in front of you as well. That's an opportunity really that he's going to have to take by the horn. So, guys, that's who I think are my quick picks. And I think that's the show, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks a lot for giving your say. We're going to be doing some England previews, England reviews. Let me know which ones you want to get onto. It's based on your availability, guys. But let me know. You can just message me which ones you want to go. So keep an eye out for that, guys. I'm gonna go down to the ground tomorrow. And
I'll be following it on Pitch Vision on YouTube.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to give as much coverage as I can, or some insights into what's going on over there. I'm not going to be there for the full game. I have a very important interview tomorrow morning, so guys, keep an eye out for the Daily Show tomorrow. I hope that interview is going to come out like I want to, and if it is still on, I have to just double check with the person if they're still available. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell for all future videos. Tomorrow is the next issue of the magazine. So, guys, please subscribe right now. You can go read the previous editions. The link is on the screen and in the description. You get it straight to your mailbox. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. We're not going to do this whole paywall stuff with you guys. So, the information's out there for free. If the guys that don't know, I know you guys might be looking at the website and thinking maybe it's bare, but I fully focus where our journalistic pieces go into the magazine. We're trying to get our writers to focus on writing the best pieces for the magazine, and we just try to give you some updates on the website so that you guys don't have to read essays on the website where you just want a quick update about certain things. So that's the link on the screen. If you are a business person and you're looking to obviously get new clients and automate your sales processes and build relationships with your clients, the link is in the description. We can help you do so. And we have an amazing special going for you right now where we really build your whole system for you. Basically, we build the whole funnel and everything in the sales process basically for free. You only pay for consultant costs and for building the stuff for you. So go ahead, click the description. If you know any small business that are interested, please let them know. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thank you so much, Lubabalo, for coming on. I know you were not feeling well. Thank you, Mpo, for coming on as a regular. I really enjoyed this conversation. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Anything you want to say before you go, guys?
I'm going to try and put up updates for domestic cricket as much as possible on a daily basis. So please, you can follow me on Twitter and I'll try and do that. I know everyone's trying to get it streamed. We'll try. If there's a stream, I'll put it on my Twitter handle and on my Twitter page, and everyone can follow.
Awesome, man. We'll probably have some regular shows going down. If you guys want to join, we will update people on domestic cricket. So,
no, I don't have much to say. I just hope someone's gonna wake up tomorrow and decide, no, South Africans deserve to watch domestic cricket, and then make it happen, man. Once we get our own cricket broadcasted, we're not gonna have people asking who's this when a certain player gets picked and he doesn't do well on the first game, because you get a lot of questions like that. Who's this? How did he get picked only in his first game? But if our cricket is out there for everyone to see, you won't have such questions. We deserve to watch some quality South African cricket. We can't always be busy watching that other tournament. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
the one that doesn't end.
You have the rights to the flippant domestic season. Please, let's get some games.
You could actually have a full show about this. It's an irritation of mine.
Yeah, get involved with us. Maybe let us run the streaming for you. Okay, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care.